the Pandora Papers. So I'm sure you guys have heard about this, right? It's the biggest financial leak in history. Let's take a look. This is a headline from The Guardian. Pandora Papers, biggest ever leak of offshore data, exposes financial secrets of rich and powerful. Millions of documents reveal offshore deals and assets of more than 100 billionaires, 30 world leaders, and 300 public officials. Fascinating, right? So you guys may recall we had the Panama Papers a few years ago, and then the Paradise Papers, and now they have the Pandora Papers. Great naming scheme, right? So in any case, let's take a look at this, because if you go down and look at these reports that they've done, because you must understand this is a collaborative effort. It's not just The Guardian. It's many journalistic outlets that have collaborated together. And you can see here, they're saying it's perhaps the most significant offshore leak to date was the 2016 Panama Papers, which I just mentioned, right? Then with the Paradise Papers and now the Pandora Papers. These are 2.94 terabytes. Okay, they're the largest of the three. And say the files also come from a much wider array of offshore providers than previous leaks, 14 in total. Locations range from Vietnam to Belize and Singapore and to far-flung archipelagos such as the Bahamas and the Seychelles. So what's really interesting about this, because they mentioned multiple world leaders, right? Like the King of Jordan, President of Azerbaijan. What really stuck out to me immediately, and this is lovely. Are you ready? Are you ready? Not everyone named in the Pandora Papers is accused of wrongdoing. The leaked files reveal that Tony and Sherry Blair saved £312,000 in property taxes when they purchased a London building partially owned by the family of a prominent Bahraini minister. So this is what I love. I really love this. Right before Tony Blair, you have a disclaimer. Right? Not the Azerbaijani president or anyone else, just Tony Blair. It's like, listen, guys, we know Tony Blair is named to this, but he's a good guy. He's a saint. He didn't do anything wrong, okay? He just happens to be in this trove of data. He didn't do anything wrong. I love it. I love it. This is so emblematic of what British media is, right? Just kissing Tony Blair's ass. All of them to this day, right? So I love that. That's really good. Here's another thing that stuck out to me, like a sore thumb. If we go on the website of the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists, right? Because they've worked on this on these Pandora Papers. If we scroll down over here, okay, look what they say. This is on their website, right? They say, where are the 336 politicians in the Pandora Papers from? And you look at this heat map, and oh, that's funny. There's nothing in the United States. Nothing. Not one politician. You're telling me this is the biggest leak in history of offshore data. It's an enormous financial leak. And you didn't find one corrupt politician in the United States, the financial capital of the world? I mean, you have to be a sucker to believe this. You have to be a moron. The United States is more corrupt than everything put together. What are you talking? It's the financial capital of the planet. You didn't find one corrupt politician from the US. One, not one. Oh, this is really good. This is really good. Here's the next thing that stuck out to me, man. Are you ready? I'm sure as you guys were staring at the beautiful graphics of the Pandora Papers, you notice some of these world leaders. They've kindly put Mr. Blair over here on the left. But who is the biggest? Who has the biggest photograph on the front cover of the Pandora Papers? Why, it's Mr. Putin. Of course, no scandal is complete without a little bit of Russian in there, right? You can't have a scandal without Russia. There has to be some anti-Russian bias in there, right? So let's take a look. How is Mr. Putin, the Russian president, involved in this? Are you ready? Are you ready about this? Okay, let's take a look. The Russian president, Vladimir Putin, whom the United States suspects of having a secret fortune, does not appear in the files by name. Let me repeat that. does not appear in the files by name. But numerous close associates do, including his best friend from childhood, the late Peter Kolbin, whom critics have called a quote-unquote wallet for Putin's own wealth, and a woman the Russian leader was allegedly once romantically involved with. None responded to invitations to comment. So that's great, right? Putin is not named in it. So they stuck his face on the front cover anyway, and they made it the biggest one. The biggest fucking face. Look at this. He's not even named in it, and they put his face on the front cover anyway. Oh, they're so lame. Oh my god. A childhood friend. Dude, I don't even remember who the fuck I went to school with when I was, you know, like, who remembers this shit? What does that do? That doesn't prove anything. Oh my god, that is really stupid. This is so transparent. Look, I want to be honest here. I want to be honest, okay? I'm not trying to diss any of the reporters. I'm not accusing them of being like, you know, CIA agents or something. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that this is really grasping at straws. I mean, you could have said that without plastering his face on the front cover. It doesn't make any sense, right? I don't understand what the point of that is. You know, you could have put the disclaimer that you put before Tony Blair's name over there, no? It's just a suggestion. You could have put it before the Azerbaijani president, perhaps, no? I don't know. Because, you know, putting it before Blair, who's named in it, and Putin, who's not named in it, he gets a full portrait on the front cover. You know, it's a bit odd. It's a bit suspicious. And I want to say one more thing, because, you know, the Pandora papers, what this is, they're trying to copy what WikiLeaks did. You know, WikiLeaks really pioneered this international, collaborative, investigative journalism. They really pioneered that. Yep. And ever since, you've had tons of people, not just with the Pandora papers, tons of projects trying to copy that, right? And the difference is, and I think Stefania Morizzi pointed this out very eloquently, is that people who are detractors of WikiLeaks, instead of talking about the material, they just come and they attack the journalists working as media partners with WikiLeaks, or attack WikiLeaks itself and say, oh, you're all Russian agents. And, you know, because they can't discredit the files, because the files are 100% genuine. So they resort to ad hominem attacks, right? Smear campaigns, they accuse them of being Russian agents. No one is doing that here, you know? No one is doing that here. People have their disagreements, but they don't go and jump and say, oh, you're a CIA agent because you said something bad about Putin. You see the difference? You see the difference here? It's very important to note that. And once again, it's also important to note that the way that you can submit documents as a source, this was pioneered by WikiLeaks, this anonymous drop type system, and these enormous collaborative investigative projects. This is also pioneered by WikiLeaks. And, you know, they do get credit for it, but not enough credit. Along with the credit comes a lot of demonization, which is very unjust and uncalled for, and completely, you know, unfounded. So I wanted to say that as well. And, you know, I just wanted to point out a few things about these Pandora papers that stuck out to me. That's all. Now, I'm not saying this because I don't know if it's true, but I've seen people suggesting that this is part of a trend of not leaks but hacks. I don't know if that's true. I'm not well versed enough in that particular avenue of this topic to comment on it. But I've seen people saying that. I mean, even if it is, I don't know who's behind that, who's doing the hacking. But once again, you can look back on WikiLeaks, for example, the DNC stuff, or, you know, Hillary Clinton emails. They always said that they were hacked, and they weren't, right? So you have a lot more loaded charges. You have a lot more unfair accusations leveled against WikiLeaks, lobbed at WikiLeaks. And, you know, when it comes to things that are focused on other world leaders or other parts of the world, no one even asks these questions. It's just taken at face value. Just an interesting observation I wanted to share with you.